Hello, welcome to the PHNX Tailgate, another beautiful Sunday here in the Valley, presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, where if you just bet $5 on any team to basically win a game, you get $200 free in bets. Let's roll the intro.
Shane Diefenbach, Little Minds Preschool, Spelling Bee champion.
Johnny Venerable, Chittix Junior High School, Normal, Illinois.
Saul Bookman, Natterburg Elementary. Go Rattlers.
Go Scorpions. I don't know why I said Rattlers. It always makes me cringe every time I see that now. I'm like, damn, I got the wrong mascot for the wrong school. It was back in 3rd grade. Give me a break. Also, you can notice that Shane Diefenbach is not here. So we have replaced him. We upgraded today.
Yeah, some would say, many would say we've upgraded.
Yes, with Derek Montilla, host of PHNX Diamondbacks, but also just a connoisseur of many different sorts.
The ultimate chess piece.
Yes. Yeah, and then obviously you guys know this guy to my left, Johnny Venerable. How's it going,
Yes,
Johnny?
sir. I'm doing well.
Yeah.
A little disappointed. I may have to watch Colt McCoy again today, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. But yeah, big weekend for Cliff Kingsbury and the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, absolutely. They got 2 more games left before they get to the bye week. It's going up to Seattle next week to wrap up the first portion of this season. And, there's a lot to be determined in the NFL. But before we get there, we got to talk about some more chaos that happened in college football last night. And ironically, we're not even going to talk about a college football playoff team. We're going to talk about a team that's just, man, you just never know what you're going to get in Texas. Getting upset by Kansas. Oh, my goodness. If you didn't see the highlight last night, Kansas goes for a 2-point conversion, in overtime to win the game. They get it. And then they proceed to not even know how to celebrate.
Act like you've been there before, Kansas.
Because they haven't. Look at the coach. He's like, everybody get the fuck off the field. But the game is over, coach. Enjoy the moment. This guy knows how to celebrate, though.
Yeah.
Let's get some. He's running all over the field. And then coach is tackling him, telling him, get out the field. Get out the damn field. We're going to get a flag. We're going to lose the game somehow, even though the game is over. Like, no, that's not what's happening. Coach, somebody pull coach and say, Coach, it's okay. We won.
Nobody knows what to do.
We won. It's okay. We won.
Oh, yeah. See?
Not a good indictment of your coach knowing the rules of college football. I know you just got that big victory, but
it's like it just set in now that, oh, shit, we really
actually
did.
Hey,
set in for that guy.
That's what I want to see right there.
Oh, can we celebrate?
No,
like,
I don't know.
I don't even know what's going on.
What do I do with my hands?
the best 2 minutes in college football right there. Leah, you can go ahead and cut the clip. Yeah. It just poor Kansas. Even when they win, they don't know how to win.
They're just ready for basketball season. I think
they
everybody was in their ear all week. They were going to get smoked by an upset Texas team, and they're like, yeah, Kansas basketball. They're tipping off this week, and somehow they pull off the victory. More so from a Texas standpoint, that team's willingly moving to the SEC. Dear God, if you're losing to Kansas that has walk-ons and a bunch of one-star athletes, and all due respect to their program, they got the victory. I don't want to underscore that. This, to me, is more about a Texas football program that is seeping further and further into irrelevance now. They've always had money. People are arguing, well, they're going to the SEC for big dollars. They have bigger boosters than I would say 99.9% of college football teams. To me, they are in complete chaos and disarray as a program. They're going to become that Tennessee team. And what I mean by that is like Tennessee that had greatness for decades upon decades that, typically I didn't see really as somebody who was born in the late 80s. All I hear about is how great Tennessee was, and they are just an afterthought in the landscape of college football. That's what Texas is going to become. They're going to become that, once upon a time they were great. They won that national championship with Vince Young. And then since then, it has just been a horrific series of events culminating last night.
I get what you're saying. I do. I understand like the perception of Texas from everybody outside of Texas is definitely like, what is going on? They're basically like USC. Like every year, they always seem to stumble over themselves, even though they have more talent than just about everybody else in the conference. Yeah. You just never know what you're going to get with them. Right. The only difference, I will say this, and ironically, we just threw in USC. We're talking about a former USC coach and Steve Sarkisian, who is in charge of Texas now. It's his first year. And I understand that they have a lot of talent. They got Bijan Robinson, hometown product, obviously down in Tucson. He might be out for the year now with a shoulder injury or a wrist injury or something like that. But you do have to give guys a chance. And at Texas, Alabama's, the LSU's, like the runway is so short.
Yeah.
Like people want instant success. They want you to turn it around so fast.
Correct.
And it just isn't always like that.
No, but Texas does have an advantage, or they should, in recruiting, right? From their own state. Texas players, high school Texas players tend to be, some of the top prospects in the country, right? So it just shows that they're still not able to get the best talent even in their own state. And I think that might be what the move to SEC is all about, is trying to like be in the big conference and be a big team that can, recruit the best players in the country. But right now they're not doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. But Kansas, like, let's talk about Kansas.
Do we have to?
Coming from a school where we barely win any football games, I understand and appreciate
You can relate.
Kansas's feelings on beating Texas for the first time, I think, since like 2008 or something like that.
Yeah.
Especially on the road. I mean, they've never beaten Texas on the road, which is crazy.
Yeah. All I can think of when I think of Kansas football is Mark Mangino when they won the Orange Bowl, and it's Dan Lebatard's avatar, because they both look like a big giant orange, and that Aqib Talib,
coach.
Yes, that Aqib Talib. I think 2006, maybe Kansas football team that inexplicably led by Mangino won the Orange Bowl. They had a bunch of NFL talent, and then since then I think they've had like multiple 1 to 2 win seasons. So yeah, kudos to them. Like a lot of people argued, should even Kansas football have a football program? Well,
Yeah.
clearly,
It was a legit question.
yeah.
Sure.
And now you're right. They were on like a U of A kind of trajectory. So that should give you confidence, Saul, that even if
guys
you
do
are in the
too.
slum of just winless seasons, you can rally back. And who knows, that could be you, U of A playing against Oregon not too long and beating the Ducks. That's what the equivalent would be, I think.
Johnny, let me tell you something about me, dog. Let me tell you something about me, dog. First of all, we were in the Fiesta Bowl in 2014. Okay.
Okay.
So at least that's
Yes.
At least that's within the last 10 years.
God,
At least the
that
last
feels
decade.
like forever
It does.
ago.
It feels like a very long time ago. And we were in a bowl game at least, I think, 4 years ago. So we're closer than Kansas is right now. I'll tell you that much right now. And we are in the middle of a rebuild. We have a new coach. And, if Kevin Sumlin wasn't such a dumpster fire, we would be ahead of the curve, I think. But,
I feel like you guys have been close many times this year. Like competitive.
Oh, yeah.
Many, many
even
times.
even yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday, you're going into the fourth quarter, they blocked the field goal.
Yep.
They're down by 2 in the fourth, and you just think, man, if they can get one more stop, they might fuck around and win this game.
Right.
Unfortunately, Utah does Utah things. And
Most importantly, though, you guys know how to act if you win a game versus what we saw here from Kansas, right?
Right.
You guys know how to act. Like, there is a thing about, when you go into a game, they say, like, the reason why sometimes teams lose is that confidence, right?
Yeah.
Some teams go into a game hoping they're going to win and hoping they don't look bad or hoping they don't lose too bad, and other teams go in knowing. Kansas went into this game, obviously, hoping they just didn't look too bad, and then they somehow pulled out the win. I mean, that just shows the difference in confidence levels there at the end, where they don't even know what to do, that they actually pulled it off.
Stark difference than the COVID Bowl of a couple weeks ago with U of A playing Cal when Cal's whole team was out. And I think, by and large, most people thought U of A had a really good chance to win that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was probably their last best chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, ASU won last night, and ASU had a horrible 3-week stretch where they lost 2 games. The bye week was in the middle. That's why it was a 3-week stretch. And you thought, oh, man, maybe this team is going the opposite way. But they pulled it together.
Yeah.
And they're still alive. They're still alive in the South. They need Utah to lose out, which could happen. They have Oregon, and then they have to play Colorado. That could happen.
Yeah.
Like, because you never know what could happen in a rivalry game. And if ASU were to win out, they would get the bid into the Pac-12 championship. And then, who knows what could happen after that. ASU's running game is, I mean, I would say probably the best in the Pac-12.
It's what Herm did great at the NFL. I mean, think of the caliber of backs that he had in the National Football League, and I think that's just a staple of Herm Edwards football. And it travels well which is why I think that as you get into these later months of the season, when their quarterback play is admittedly a little bit dicey in recent weeks, they can lean on that. At the end of the day, like, and you've said this all year, Saul, so I'll give you credit. Like, this is who ASU is. They are never the, belle of the ball, going to go undefeated, maybe lose one game en route to potentially securing a bid in the college football playoff, but they're never going to lose 5 or 6 games. They're going to be right around that range, or will they or won't they? Can they get into the Pac-12 championship losing 2 to 3 games? This is the, and you know what? For a lot of people, that's good enough. And then for us, we want to see them take that next step. Is it this year? Lots got to go right for them.
You be careful with the word "us." It's probably just you. I don't really care either way. But but you're right. ASU forever the belle of the ball. But that's the frustrating part is when you look at the running game and you look at what they have, and defensively they're not terrible.
No,
they have some studs on that side of the ball. You just thought, okay, well, then it comes down to Jaden Daniels. And Jaden Daniels should be good enough to take you to another level.
He should.
And he has not played very well this year.
That's correct.
He's played below expectations, I should say. And so when you go for a Todd Graham to a Herm Edwards, that's a calculated gamble that you're hoping is going to take you from that 8, 9, 10 win seasons to 11, 12 and potentially competing for a national championship. And it just has not come to fruition. And I think that's why, listen, ASU's got a solid football program. They do.
Very solid.
But the problem is if you're inside and you're an ASU fan, you get frustrated because you feel like you're like this close all the time, but you never really are.
Especially with the Pac-12 so winnable. I think that's the difference. You're not in the SEC. You don't have to compete against the power head coaches, right? Oregon is consistently strong, but they have down years. They were down last year. USC's in disarray. It's a winnable conference, and that's probably the most frustrating thing.
If ASU doesn't lose to Utah and they beat Washington State, I once thought when we were talking, I think I forgot who they beat at the beginning of the year. It was like when they were 4-1. Everybody was talking about college football playoff at the time. Yeah. They were 5-1, and I was like, come on. Now I'm looking at it, and I'm like, holy shit. They would be like a top 10, 15 team right now, and definitely competing for an opportunity because if they got all the way to the Pac-12 championship and beat Oregon, there it is. Yeah. Like you can't keep them out.
But that Washington State game, that showed that once their running game fell completely apart, so did they. Obviously it was turnovers and things like that, but without the running game, they're inoperable at this point. So that's what they rely on. And if they get that shut down, they're kind of exposed pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, it was a good weekend of college football. If you had a chance to watch a lot of those games. Also, shout out to the 1A state champion Mogollon. I think it's the Mustangs. I want to say Mogollon High School. Let me just say that 1A. They win back-to-back state championships. This is their 6th title overall. They win 58-12 in their state championship game. Also, here's and if you don't know much about 1A football here in Arizona, it's 8-man football, which is very fun to watch.
What?
What do you mean?
8-man football. Oh, it's 8-man football. Like 8 on 8. Yeah, it's 8-man football.
All right.
Yeah, so it's pretty fascinating. Also, they never punted all season.
Damn.
And they only turned the ball over on downs once all year.
Man.
You talk about domination.
Machine.
Well, they won by what? Almost 40 points in the championship game. Yeah, that's pretty dominating.
Pretty good. So shout out to Mogollon High School. Congratulations on your state championship. Or the state football championships are coming up. I think starting this upcoming week, you have 4A, 5A, 6A about to start. 2A and 3A are about to wrap up. And then you have the open division, which I'm very excited about. I actually live right by Basha High School. Yeah. Basha High School, they got some dogs on defense. It is absolutely ridiculous. They got some high profile prospects. So I'm kind of excited. I know my little community in that area is pretty excited to watch them take the field against Liberty here in 2 weeks. So good luck locally.
Let me ask you this. Well, just because I've never seen 8-man, is that, maybe arena, I don't know how many arena uses or indoor, but is that like 3 linemen for like the offense?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 linemen. Sometimes you can have a tight end. You typically have 2 wide receivers and a running back.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
That's cool.
We played 8-man football for flag football.
Yeah,
but never for tackle. But I actually grew up around Mayer High School up in Cordes Junction, Arizona. Which, for those of you who don't know, when you take the turnoff off of I-17 to go to Prescott. That's the Mare area right there.
Gotcha.
And they play 8-man football. So I almost went to a 1A school until I was like, Dad, bro, come on. Can you please take me to a bigger high school? And then we moved to Tempe, and I went to Marcus Deniz, and that was that. So anyway, let's move along. That was Pitch the Tent. Here we go with your Survey Says Cerveza, our favorite segment of the week. And Leah behind the Mac has got the questions for the day.
All right. So when I come up with these games, I try and be relevant to what's going on.
Sure.
And I was thinking about how the Cardinals could tie a franchise record today. So I was thinking of, with a win, so I was thinking of breaking records. And then Cam Newton's back on the Panthers, and Cam Newton once broke 3 world records in a day for the Guinness Book of World Records. So on that subject, I just thought, let me look up the most obscure world records I could find.
Oh, okay. All right.
And we'll try and have you guys guess
All right.
these world records. So here's the first one. How many people made up the largest human mattress dominoes?
Oh, my goodness.
Human mattress dominoes.
So
Yes.
people on mattresses and then falling backwards as dominoes, like on mattresses.
Okay. I'm going to say B, because I just feel like 1786 is just a lot of people
Yeah.
and a lot of mattresses.
Yeah. I mean, all of those numbers are ridiculous. I'll go with C, 2019.
Change it up. I'll go A, 3012.
All right, so Derek is correct. It's 2019, and it was in Brazil in the year 2019,
I
actually.
really wish you had video of that.
I know. All right, next up, how long is the world's longest mustache?
It's got to be 14 feet. It's got to be.
14 feet is...
That's absurd. Yeah, I know. 6 feet is like longer than the human. Like that would be dragging for even a short man.
So fun fact, I can only say mustache. I can't say it
Mustache.
the other way. It just doesn't come out of my mouth the other way. So how long is the world's longest mustache? It is, I'll go 11 feet.
I will go 6.
All right, Derek again. It's 14 feet.
Damn. Getting our asses kicked right now.
All right, get Shane back here.
Sorry.
All right, what is the world record for spinning a basketball on a toothbrush?
Oh my gosh. Are we going to break this weekend?
Man.
If this is, I mean, these don't really look insanely long.
No.
I feel like I could do that.
Yeah. Well.
You just sit and do it for an hour?
On a toothbrush?
On a toothbrush.
Which side, the bristle side or the nub side?
I don't know.
I don't think it matters. I mean, it does matter, but does it matter?
All right, I'll go first. 36 and a half does not feel like very long. So I will go on the high end, 2 minutes and 3.75 seconds.
C, 1 minute and 8.15 seconds.
I'm also gonna go C, 1 minute, 8.15 seconds.
C is correct. It was
undefeated
I
on
know,
that.
wow. It was a guy in Canada did that. I don't know.
I looked at her answer sheet beforehand.
I swear I didn't send them to him. All right, next. What is the world record for most dogs in a conga line?
Do they have to have
You
their
don't have video of this?
Do they
What
have
is
to-
going on?
you have to
It
have
seems
their-
like a tease at this point.
Do they have to have their paws on each other's shoulders?
Yes, they
Yes,
do.
yes.
They certainly
yeah.
do.
Yeah, paws on shoulders.
I'm gonna go 8. That seems anything above double digits seems way.
I'm going to go 16.
Yeah, I'm
aggressive.
going 16 too.
All right, Derek's undefeated streak is over. Johnny was right.
Yeah.
Nice.
It is 8. All right, this is the last one. What is the world record for largest gathering of people wearing helmets?
I don't know why I read that, and I read, what is the world record for largest gathering of white people? I was like, what?
Much larger than that.
Probably the same thing. This has to be Sturgis, right? That has to be Sturgis. I'm going C, 6,701.
It's definitely not
Absolutely.
A because you would add one more person to make it an even.
Yeah,
5,000.
and even 5,000. Yeah, let's like get the cameraman in here.
Yeah, told them forgot their helmet. You know?
Yeah, I'll go C as well.
You know what? I'm going to just change it up. I'm going to go A.
Yeah, it's A.
Oh my God!
You have to know, like, somebody just was supposed to come and did it.
Yeah,
because
someone didn't show up.
What a jerk.
Anyway,
That's
those are
awesome.
some random ones I found.
And
So.
that was Survey Says Cervezas. Thanks, Leah. That was fun. I appreciate that one. So, all right. Well, it's time to tap that app.
Let's do it.
It's time for our props, our locks, and our drops. And while I look at the props that I want for this week, I'm going to hand it on over to Johnny. Johnny, take it from here.
Let's make some money, people, today. All right.
Ooh.
So, propping it up, getting things started, friends. Arizona Cardinals hosting the Carolina Panthers today. There's not going to be many points in this game.
Nope.
And we'll get to that here in a little bit. But somebody who does not have doesn't have a problem finding the end zone is Cardinal running back James Conner. He's got 11 touchdowns on the season. He's on pace for just under 20. And I think he could be one of, if not the only person who finds the end zone today. So if you go on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and the first touchdown of the game, he is plus 500. I love those odds. Again, couldn't you just see a scenario in this game in which it's like 17-6 and James Conner has the only 2 TDs of the game?
Absolutely.
And that can be rushing and or receiving.
Yeah.
So again, his anytime touchdown is minus 135. Stay away from that if you're looking to score the big dollars. Plus 500 for James Conner. Again, no Chase Edmonds, maybe no Kyler Murray, maybe no DeAndre Hopkins. So again, Carolina's pass defense is really strong. Stephon Gilmore, you can run on Carolina. James Conner plus 500.
Johnny and I fought about that prop bet.
And
so
then I used my Cardinal trump card. And I said, give it to me.
It's all yours.
Okay, well, you don't want to go.
No, I'll go.
I'll take it from here, Derek. It's
No,
okay.
no, I'll go.
That's
You
right.
still need some time.
Props. No, I got
Go ahead.
my prop of the week. I am all over this game today. The Falcons at the Cowboys.
Oh no.
I am looking forward to this game so much because either we're gonna find out that Dallas just had a bad game last week, or that they're fucking frauds.
They are
and
frauds.
I'm so excited.
Come
for
on,
this.
Matt Ryan.
So, but what I will say is that the Falcons defense isn't great. And the Cowboys weren't fucking phenomenal last week either. But my prop of the week is Dak Prescott having over 2.5 touchdowns today. I think he will have over 2.5 touchdowns. I will get to what I think is going to happen in that game in a little bit, but that's my prop of the week. 2.5. I'm taking the over. I think he's going to cover. I think he's going to have at least 3 passing touchdowns today.
I'm taking Adrian Peterson for first TD scorer in Saints at Titans. Just because he seems to be back. It's kind of crazy.
He seems to be back. He had 1 touchdown last week. Oh, he's back.
He's back, right? I mean,
He never ages.
That Titans offense is incredible, and I mean they just rely on the running game so much. And with Derrick Henry out for the year, I think he's going to get at least those those vulture touches there at the goal line, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him be absolutely first touchdown scorer. And I grabbed James Conner on that I think 2 weeks ago, or no, last week.
Nice.
It was a plus 1,000 last week, so
Ooh.
his it was good for me.
For the first touchdown score?
Yeah, for the first touchdown
Dude,
score.
anytime you can get James Conner as the first touchdown scorer, that's a pretty good bet.
Yeah.
They
It
just
seems
my concern is just can't give him 30 plus carries because that's what got him banged up in
Correct.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So you gotta get little Eno Benjamin today.
Yeah.
I don't think Eno's going to vulture any TDs because even with Chase's high production from a yardage standpoint, poor guy didn't have a touchdown on the season, poor bastard, before he went on IR. So
it was until you and I were telling Kirsten that he absolutely wasn't going to score this week that he finally scored.
Yeah. So just Cliff, if you're listening, which I hope you are.
We know you're a big fan.
Give Eno like 10 to 15 touches today, but James is the man in the red zone. All right, for my drop of the week, I do not like any part of this Packer-Seahawks game tonight. You've got Russell Wilson coming back off an injury. Aaron Rodgers is presumably be back after COVID. Did he have a chance to practice much of this week? Right. It's a snow game. Packers are favored minus 3.5. I like the Packers to win. I could see this being, like maybe a 2-point conversion because you're thinking like probably not going to kick a lot of field goals in this game. So whether this line moves one way or the other, I think it could be a 1-point victory from either side. I want to see Matt LaFleur rebound this week just because, the Seahawks, to me, I don't want to give them life heading into Arizona's game next week. And I think if they were to upset the Packers on the road this week in their building, it would be very difficult for the Cardinals to go and face the 12-man next week. You figure if they lose to the Packers, maybe they're already thinking about next year at 3-6. But regardless, minus 3.5 Packers, don't touch it. Plus 3.5 Seahawks, don't touch it.
I play Madden weekly online. So that way I can have the up-to-date stats and the up-to-date rosters, and I play week to week. So I played my my weekly game last night.
Did you get your ass kicked?
No, I did not. I had the Cardinals winning 42-3.
Oh,
but that's just how fucking good I am now. But on the flip side, on the ticker, I looked down and I saw the score of the Packers Seahawks game, and it had the Packers losing to the Seahawks 14-9. And I was like, that's not a crazy score.
No,
it's really not a crazy score.
It seems very much like what could happen. Especially, I don't know, man. Aaron Rodgers has to have a lot on his mind with all this stuff that's happening this week, right? And I mean, again, you have no idea how Russell Wilson's going to perform coming back, but he's been out for a while, so there's rust has to be there.
You just gave us your drop.
Yeah.
Did you give us our lock? Your lock?
Isn't the lock last?
No, it's prop, lock, and drop it.
Oh, I screwed that up.
I was like, why did you go drop?
I screwed it up.
That's all right. All right. Anyway, go ahead. What's your lock?
My lock this week, Rams over Niners at 3.5. I think they're going to cover the spread. It's just, I don't know.
I don't want that to happen, but I think it will.
It will happen. No, exactly. What I want and what I think.
At San Francisco?
Yeah, at San Francisco.
Kyle Shanahan's beaten McVay 4 straight times. Can you fucking believe that? That's incredible.
You know what? I kind of believe the Niners today.
Especially after that Robert Woods ACL tear on Friday.
Yep. And Odell's, Odell, he's just going to run whatever routes he wants to run.
He's going to do what he wants to do.
I mean, so Stafford's going to be back there holding it.
Yeah.
I have my lock of the week is Dallas losing.
You're all over the Falcons today.
I've been all over the Falcons, if you noticed.
That's a scary place to be.
I know it's true, but I've been largely right the last 4 weeks. They've played some good football. They've beat some good teams. So I'm on the Falcons today. Matt Ryan and company they just seem like they're in a much better groove. And so it's I like the Cowboys to lose today at home against the Falcons. Believe it or not, it might sound ridiculous, but this is a must-win for the Cowboys. They can't lose to the Falcons and the Broncos in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah,
not if they have visions of a number 1 seed or being a top 3 or 4 seed in the playoffs, because they're not really. It's at this point we're not talking about the NFC East anymore.
They've graduated from that.
We're kind of assuming that they're going to be the champions of the NFC East.
Yeah.
We're talking about seeding and positioning and who you do and do not want to face in the postseason. The Cowboys got to put it together.
Well,
otherwise
they have no excuse. They don't play in the NFC West where the big boys play, and at least with Tampa Bay, the Saints are feisty. I mean, the NFC East is awful. They have no excuse.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, so I'm gonna double back and my lock of the week, and then we'll get to your gentleman's drop since I've screwed up this segment. Here's what's not gonna screw up today. I told Shane this on bets on Friday. I'm gonna double and triple down. I'm going to take out my 401k, my children's Roth IRAs today, and I'm going to put it all on the Detroit Lions money line plus 205 at Pittsburgh. This line was plus 8 with the Lions on Friday. It's plus 6 now. No Big Ben. Man Campbell off a bye. Jared Goff. They're going to get the W today at Pittsburgh. Book it right now.
Said he's gonna.
I will be able to buy property
gonna...
in the greater Phoenix area as a result of this. I will not have to live in Maricopa anymore. When this pays out, the Lions money line today, they will get the victory. Book it right now. Shut up, Shane.
Just clip this right now, Leah. Just clip this right now because I have a feeling.
What's so funny is, again, back to the Madden simulation. They had Detroit beating Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh.
So let it be written.
Yep.
So let it be done. The
Lions
win today.
Yeah, it's a lock.
Big Ben being out makes this team better.
I don't know if you watched my guy Dwayne Haskins play or whatever the hell they're trotting out. Haskins is active. Is there backup Haskins or is it Dirt? Mason, who got hit in the head by a helmet. God, I love that clip so much. I shouldn't laugh at that, but it's so Myles Garrett swinging that helmet. That's I love it so much.
Oh my goodness. All right, what's your drop of the week?
My drop of the week is Bills versus Jets. I want no part of this game. I have no idea what the hell this Bills team is anymore.
Yeah.
And honestly, the Jets are just not good, but good enough. The spread is what? I think last time I looked, it was 15 points or something like that.
Ask Shane how it worked last week betting on the Bills against the Jaguars.
Yeah, no, hard pass. So I'm staying away from this altogether. And I think Jets will probably cover the spread, to be honest, with the way that this goes. But no. Don't forget it. Don't cover anything.
Don't
Don't even
touch
bet on it. Don't touch it.
Well, the thing I'm not touching the most is anything Redskins related.
Mm.
Or I'm sorry, Washington football team.
Washington
The
related.
football
Damn it.
team. Just the football team.
I was just thinking about because when you play Madden, they play some of the cheers in the stadium.
Yeah.
And I was just like, they had a catchy song. Like
Yeah.
that was like
Sure.
their thing, you know what I mean? But because it says "Hail to the Redskins," they got to take that down. So,
Shout out to the dude that owns every name that they were going to use. By the way, that's
Right.
still the most
I
hilarious.
still think they should
story
be the
in
Red Tails
sports.
because I think that's a pretty
Well, they're
cool-
going to have
Yeah,
to
with
pay
the
that dude a
plane,
lot of
yeah.
money in order to get that
for
name.
sure. But so I'm not touching the Washington football team against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not going to touch that game, no matter what. It's just too dangerous.
I agree with you because I think that Tampa off a bye, Buccaneers off a bye, you never know what you're going to get. Washington's secondary is awful, so you would assume Brady would have a big game, but they've also got a tremendous pass rush.
Yeah.
I think highly of Ron Rivera as a head coach. So, I could definitely see that game go either way.
And that's Tap That App this week, obviously presented by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, where if you just place a $5 bet on any football game and that team wins, you get $200 worth of free bets. It's pretty fantastic. If you haven't used the DraftKings Sportsbook app, I highly encourage you to do so. It's just simple. It's easy. It's fun to use. There's so many different bets
There really is.
from the NFL to college football to soccer. Didn't you place a bet?
I did
on
on the
something crazy?
on the Lithuania women's Euro basketball team
There
to
it
cover
is.
the spread.
And did they?
They sure did. I bet the
the
over
saddest
on
thing I've ever
Radford
heard.
versus Virginia the other night in basketball. I'm out of control, but it's because all of these games, it makes things more fun. Like if I catch something on TV that I can watch and then I can bet on it and it makes watching it more interesting and I have nothing better to do, why not? And like I by accident added multiple sports to a parlay. Didn't even know you could do that. And then that excited me because I'm like, well, if I'm going to make 2 or 3 bets, I'm just going to build a parlay in one
Yep.
way or another.
That's
Same
right.
game parlay or multiple sports. Doesn't matter.
Reminder, 21 and over, Arizona only, gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, new customers only, eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Let's get off my lawn as we get ready for the final segment and we get ready for the Panthers at the Cardinals
Yes.
today. Big game. It seems like every week is a big game because you want to maintain that lead. The Cardinals are the best team in the NFL right now, record-wise. Possibly the best team in the NFL, period. And you got a Panthers team that's coming in here. They're 4-5 on the year. They're looking to kind of bounce back. They're struggling. They need Cam Newton more than ever, which is a scary proposition. But I do think Cam Newton coming back helps them, although he's not playing this week. I think they're going to try and find out if they got enough Cam in them for at least another season, because I guarantee you they don't believe in Sam Darnold. And so, this quarterback, tell us about the quarterback coming in for the Panthers today.
Well, PJ Walker was the XFL MVP. They like him. He was a former Temple quarterback, which Matt Rule has ties to Temple, so it made sense to bring him on. He looked pretty hot and cold last year, 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions. I will push back on your notion that Cam's not going to play today. He's active. He's going to get, I think, some packages today. QB power, some of that bullshit.
Oh, he is active.
He is
He
active
is
today.
active.
Oh, wow.
So number
Okay.
1 is back at State Farm Stadium.
Where he's fared well. He has fared very well. at
Fared
K-Star.
too well.
I think that if this game, if they had signed him like Monday, like he might start this game. And there's a good chance that, let's say like PJ Walker comes out and just looks terrible.
Yeah.
Like it would not shock me if they were just like, Cam, do some shit in the second half, figure it out. That's my concern though, is not with Carolina's offense. My concern is with the Cardinals offense right now. I got some information yesterday morning that, I'm sniffing around and I was told Kyler Murray's going to give it a go. He's going to go out there and he's going to try to play, assuming he doesn't have a setback. So I put that on Twitter, felt confident in the information that I had. And then last night, I'm trying to watch Shang-Chi with my family. My phone blows up. Kyler Murray, not likely to play. So, and then he tweets out or puts something on his Instagram story, a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio kind of brooding. So if I'm reading between the lines, he wants to play.
but
I feel like he thinks he can play.
Yeah.
And Cliff and Keim and Michael Bidwell are like, no, this is Carolina. We're going to hold you out again. So I know he's disappointed because I feel like he feels like he can play. By all accounts, it's going to be Colt McCoy again today. I like Colt. I was all over Colt last week.
You were.
So this is a better defense, certainly a better secondary with Carolina. Stephon Gilmore, they have one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. Brian Burns is going to play. They've got Hassan Reddick on the other side. It's a real defense. My concern with Colt McCoy is you go to that well too many times, get too much tape on a guy. I just think he could be exposed. And today, the kind of game that Carolina wants to play is limit Colt McCoy. Let's get him into some uncomfortable positions. Let's have him turn the ball over. Short fields for PJ Walker and or Cam, and they could muddle this game up. The Cardinals got to play with a lead last week, and it benefited them. If they don't play downhill against Carolina, this could be a close game in the fourth quarter.
What were your thoughts on Colt McCoy doing his best Kyler Murray impression in that game?
It was
like
phenomenal.
It was, right? It was like when someone tells you they can do like Christopher Walken or something, and then when they do it, you're like, holy shit, that was awesome. Like he did a good job of doing his, and you could tell like the hurry up offense, everything he was doing. It felt
he is very capable, and even without Hopkins, presumably, I guess Hopkins is not close, that's concerning. So I think it's fair to say we probably won't see DeAndre Hopkins until after the bye.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see him in Seattle next week. They have it. Zach Ertz. AJ Green's back off the COVID list. Rondell Moore, by all accounts, is going to play at a concussion scare. Christian Kirk, the offensive line, they're going to miss Pugh and or Max Garcia. So you figure you got a couple backups in Josh Jones and whomever they start at left guard. But Hudson, Beachum, Humphreys, you feel good about that. They should be able to move the ball. Again, my concern is Colt McCoy, if they get down, let's say they get down 7 to 10 points, like can he rally them? I'm not so sure. And for whatever reason, Saul, this team this year has played better on the road. They haven't played that well at State Farm Stadium.
It's true.
Yeah,
but I hear what you're saying. I do have more confidence in Colt McCoy than most backups in the NFL.
Okay,
I will say that. And let's be real. Cliff called a great game last week.
Yeah, he really did.
And and he understands. When you don't have all your pieces, you have to be that much better at your play calling than normal because there is no bailouts. There is no Kyler making some magic happen behind the offensive line. And so knowing that and knowing the limitations that you might have on offense, you have to call a very clean game. And I think Cliff will do that. I think he's gotten so much better at understanding his personnel, taking advantage of matchups. You have a guy like Zach Ertz in the fold that I think could easily exploit this defense.
Yeah.
And then, you have some dudes on the outside who got a little taste, some more playing time than normal last week. That I expect to have some more, Antoine Wesley and obviously slot receiver for
Kirk,
Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore.
Putting those guys in positions to succeed, I think, is going to be a very valuable thing for them today. Defensively, I'm not so concerned. I think they can hold up against this Carolina offense. So when you talk about going down, 7-10 points, I mean, you're largely talking about, in my estimation, the Cardinals turning the ball over and putting themselves in bad positions.
Correct.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, which Colt McCoy is not turnover prone. He's a solid quarterback. If they don't turn the ball over, I think the Cardinals can win this game easily. And when I say easily, I'm looking at like maybe a 20-10 type of game. I don't think this is going to be a shootout by any stretch of the imagination.
No, I think the Cardinals are going to win this easily. I have faith in Colt. I don't have faith in the Panthers offense at all against this defense. I bring in Cam Newton. I mean, Cam Newton has not been good, and I think that the Cardinals will handle him. I think right now at this point, I have a different level of confidence in this team as a team.
Listen,
our biggest concern was Kyler Murray going out, and Colt proved last week that he can be the captain of this ship for at least a couple of weeks while Kyler heals up.
This ain't the 2015 version of the Panthers. So Cam Newton coming back and doing whatever he's going to do doesn't scare me at all. I saw what he did with the Patriots, even though he didn't really have many weapons with the Patriots either.
Sure. But he had better play calling.
His ball placement, it was just awful. His reads were terrible. Like I'm not so concerned about Cam Newton anymore.
Yeah, and the Cardinal defense is fully healthy outside of J.J. Watt. They had a full week of practice for everybody, so you would assume they can handle this offense. Carolina's offensive line is bottom tier. It's probably the worst in the NFC and only second in the NFL to only like the Miami Dolphins. They got backups of backups starting. So if you're somebody like Chandler Jones, you're probably licking your chops saying this is a stat padding game.
Let's hope it is.
This is a get paid game. Even with the mobility of PJ Walker, I just, for whatever reason, the more I've dissected and thought about this game all week, I think this is like an Isaiah Simmons game. Yeah. That young man is due for like a pick six or a fumble recovery, fumble recovery touchdown. I feel like we're going to get a defensive touchdown today from the Cardinals.
Do you just think that it's the Panthers secondary that's going to hold the Cardinals back as far as the passing game and Colt McCoy?
You know what? I am a little bit concerned. Their linebackers are relatively average, but their pass rushers are real. But San Francisco's pass rushers were real. The difference, though, is San Francisco was starting like Josh Norman and Drake Kirkpatrick in the secondary. Carolina is their defensive coordinator, I can't remember his name. He's been with Matt Rule since Temple. So they went from Temple to Baylor to the NFL together. He could be a head coach in waiting, or certainly due for a raise. That you look at that team, and it's like they're supposed to be an offensive juggernaut because Rule got $8.5 million per year from the Carolina Panthers. And it's a defensive team. And it's funny, I was driving in today and I was listening to a podcast, and supposedly USC is going to make a run at Matt Rule. And if you're Matt Rule, you're probably thinking like, damn, we picked up Dirt Sam Bradford's fifth-year option. He's on the books next year. And now they're talking about bringing back Cam, who I was like, Cam's not good enough, so they cut him right when Rule got there. He might bail for the collegiate game again. He might go back to the college football ranks to coach somebody like USC after this season. That would not shock me at all.
Wow.
It just feels like when you're in quarterback purgatory, horrible QB class, right? They were kind of maybe in on Deshaun Watson. That blew up in their face. They traded a second, third round pick for Sam Darnold. He's going to be on the team next year. You're signing Cam. Like they don't have options and they don't have mobility to go out and get somebody better next year. And you look at their division. Like, you're not beating Tampa and Brady, right? You would assume that Sean Payton's got something up his sleeve at the quarterback position for next year. Matt Ryan's still very capable. Like, the NFC is a juggernaut with quarterbacks, just even outside the NFC South. And I like their personnel offensively. Their receiving core is really quality. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey, right? They've got real players. But when you're so inept at quarterback, it does not matter.
Yep.
Okay, final score predictions. Let's start with you, Derek.
I'm going to do 28-13 Cardinals.
I will go. I'll go right along your thoughts. I think it's going to be like 17-7, something like that.
Kind of like how they played against the 49ers at home last time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with the 20-10 kind of ball game. I think I do feel a defensive touchdown coming. I would expect if the Cardinals are on their game defensively, I would expect them to have multiple turnovers today. They should definitely be getting to the quarterback multiple times, no matter who's back there. And especially if it's Cam, hit him all night long. It's not going to matter. So 20-10 is the score I think I'm going to go with.
Nice. I mean, if you're Matt Rule and Sam Darnold was your starter in practice, and this is not a knock on PJ Walter. I'm glad he's in the NFL and he's got an opportunity. Sam Darnold's been maybe the worst quarterback in the NFL this season. And if PJ Walker can't beat out Sam Darnold, like you should not get beat by PJ Walker if you're 8-1.
And Chandler needs to have a big day.
He does.
For Chandler.
Yeah, for Chandler. For sure. Chandler. Chandler was talking about, licking his chops because Baker Mayfield was holding on to the ball so long and he didn't get a chance to play against Baker. This is another opportunity that's just like that. You have to come ready to go because if you do, you can pad your stats some more. But I'm looking for guys, like you said, like Isaiah Simmons. I want guys like Zaven Collins to make a few plays and kind of show what they got. The guys that we don't really hear too much about. We did in the preseason and coming into the season, but they've largely been kind of, an afterthought during the season. Those types of dudes. And then on top of that, Carolina's going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to run the ball. So how's the front four going to match up? How they're going to, are they going to stay healthy today? You have Peters and you have Phillips. Like, how are they going to perform? That's kind of what I'm looking for. So if we could stop the run, I'm not so worried about the air attack for Carolina. I expect the Cardinals to be able to run the ball too, even though the Carolina defense is very good. Benjamin should get, you're right, he should get 5 to 10 touches at least, especially feeling the feeling after he played last game. You could tell he started to understand the flow of a game, and that's the hardest thing about being a player is practice is just not like the game.
Correct.
So when you only get 1, 2, 3 touches maybe in a game, it's hard to kind of get into a nice rhythm and flow of how things are going in order to see those holes and understand how quickly they can close and get through. And so Benjamin getting more carries last week helped, and I think it's going to produce dividends today.
He's been in the system for 2 years now, and it's less about his running style, which has always been capable. We saw him at the collegiate level. He should have been higher than a 7th-round pick. That was great value for the Cardinals. But they stash him so he could work on his pass protection, right, and his routes out of the backfield. So he showed in the preseason, especially last week, like he deserves touches. That's a position that translates very well to the NFL. We've seen that. They cannot go to the well too much with James Conner because it's burned the teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers in the past. I love James Conner. Sure. He's in the perfect role for him right now. Eno needs touches today. I think he will get touches.
I have a feeling, though, that James Conner is going to get used a lot for pass protection in this game. And
that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, probably won't be in too much, but he definitely needs the touches. And I don't know. I think he's a great running back. I really think it's really, like you said, it's the lack of playing time.
Yeah.
You just can't get into a rhythm when you're so limited.
And he's physical. Like I feel like outsiders, like I wasn't here during his height of like ASU stardom. But people around the country, they think of him kind of like a little shifty change of pace back.
No,
he is incredibly physical between the tackles, maybe even more so
He's
than
a big
Chase.
guy.
Yeah, he is.
And that run over of Drake Kirkpatrick last week kind of emphasized that.
So good.
And so people, I know a lot of national people are like, well, he should play the Chase Edmonds role of like the shifty guy. And I'm like, he's a physical in between the tackle runner.
He absolutely is. And if I was Kirkpatrick, I would have maybe contemplated retirement after getting run over like that.
Before we go, I just want to remind you all, Johnny will be out the game, and he'll be covering for the PHNX Cardinals podcast, which will be at postgame show. Please join us for the postgame show there. Be myself, Frank Sanders, and Kirsten Susel. And then make sure you go to gophnx.com. Check out Johnny's writing, Derek's writing. Got a lot of great content on there. And plus, we have this fantastic merch. And if you haven't seen it yet, this is the real deal version of Maybe We're Just Fucking Better shirt that you can get in our store.
I love these shirts so much.
Check it out. It's fantastic. You'll love it. They feel great, and they look great.
They really do. They really do.
Look good, feel good.
Yep, absolutely. So that's another episode of the PHNX Tailgate. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you next time here on the show. Bye-bye.